Hello there! My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Why, yes, I am in fact wearing a cardigan, looking even more like a quirky professor. All we need now is a pair of glasses and a pipe. But in all seriousness, it's getting colder where I live, so I'm going to start dressing warmly for these videos, at least until it warms up again. Also, I want you to take note of the fact that, again, I have a cat resting on my lap. So if you see any movement throughout this video, it's probably coming from him. Now that we've got that out of the way, today's video will be a continuation of my top 30 spooky / creepy / scary mythological creatures to go with spooky season. Like with the first part, link in the cards and in the description, these entries will be in no particular order. So without further ado, here is part 2 of my top 30 scariest mythological creatures, in no particular order. Number 20, the Samebito. A creature from the land of the rising sun itself, the Samebito, sometimes also called Kojin, are a race of creatures that take on the forms of half-human, half-shark hybrids. They are often described as having inky black bodies, faces like demons, beards like dragons, and eyes like emeralds. They're also described as being very emotional, and whenever they cry, their tears transform into precious jewels. Now, I bet you're thinking, Tanner, why would that be on this list? That sounds like an amazing friend to have. Well, the reason I put them on this list is because, for me, the thought of a half-human, half-shark creature is kind of unsettling. And if I saw a shark-like creature that walks on land, I don't care if they're friendly or not, I am turning around and I am running away. Number 19, the Kalikantsaros. Creatures from Greco-European folklore, the Kalikantzaroi are goblin-like creatures that are said to cause mischief of varying degrees. The common belief is that they are creatures with mostly human features, but are small, have black skin, and demonic-looking tails. However, one thing that separates their mischief from the mischief of other magical creatures is the fact that they only appear and cause mischief during the 12 days leading up to Christmas. So they may look creepy, but they're mostly just impish and stupid, as well as appearing only 12 days out of the entire year. Also, there are quite a few methods of keeping them at bay, including, but not limited to, throwing an old pair of leather shoes into your fireplace, because considering they have really, really sensitive noses, the acrid smell of burning leather is a good deterrent. Number 18, the Boogeyman. Now, the Boogeyman is a creature, sometimes a spirit, whose description differs from culture to culture. However, there are some similarities in their descriptions, such as claws, fangs, and talons. There are some cosmetic differences, such as certain animal features like horns or hooves, or sometimes even insect features. Also, most are described as being spirits, while the minority are things like demons or witches, as well as other legendary creatures. No matter the culture they come from, each boogeyman equivalent shares the same motive, which is teaching misbehaving young children a lesson. However, they go about doing so in many different ways, which can be divided into 3 distinctive categories. The first and biggest category are those that only frighten children with punishments and don't really cause that much harm, possibly a couple of nightmares or even a sore bottom at worst. The second category is much more violent, doing anything from stealing children from their beds to even eating them. The third and final category are the boogeymen who use their powers to protect the innocent and punish the guilty, no matter what age. Number 17, the Enenra. Residing from Japan, the Enenra is a yokai, an umbrella term for Japanese unnatural spirits / creatures, that, according to the myths, appears from bonfires and takes the form of an ethereal humanoid made up entirely of smoke. Now, I bet you're wondering, but Tanner, those are just creatures made out of smoke. How can that be scary? Well, because in some cultures, the Enenra is actually mistaken for Mr. Grim Reaper himself. And other interpretations say that Enenra are actually spirits of the dead that are rising up along with the smoke, which to me is extremely creepy. Number 16, Empusa. In Grecian mythology, Empusa is a vampiric servant of the Greek titaness Hecate, who was worshipped as a goddess of magic, or witchcraft, whichever you prefer, crossroads, and trivial knowledge, among other things. She is said to take the form of a woman that feeds on the blood of men that she seduces in their sleep, which is essentially the ancient Greek explanation for sleep paralysis. She is also known to possess hair made entirely of flames and two mismatched legs, with one being that of a donkey and the other made entirely of bronze. Creepy, huh? Number 15, Hecatonkir. Another group of ancient Greek mythological creatures. The three Hecatonchires were giant creatures that, according to the Theogony, the ancient Greek creation myth, they were the three youngest children of the primordial gods Gaia, goddess of the earth, and her husband Ouranos, god of the sky. They were preceded by the 12 Titans and the 3 Cyclopses, respectively. Like their Cyclops brothers before them, these creatures were said to have been thrown into Tartarus, the deepest, darkest part of the underworld, by their father Ouranos because they were so ugly. They are said to take the forms of giants with 100 hands each, hence the name, which translates to 100-handed ones, and 50 heads apiece. Think about that. Number 14, Gashadokoro. According to Japanese folklore, the Gashadokoro is a creature that takes the form of a giant skeleton, 15 times larger than the average human, made entirely out of the amassed bones of people who either die of starvation or those who died in battle and weren't buried properly. Possessing the powers of both invisibility and indestructibility, the Gashadokoro can be warded off by the use of special charms. Their approach can be detected by a loud ringing in the ear, and they're said to roam around at midnight, grabbing people traveling alone and biting their heads off in order to drink the blood spraying from the body. Yikes. Lucky number 13, the Minotaur. Now, before you come after me in the comments, I prefer Minotaur as opposed to Minotaur or Minotaur because the name actually translates to Bull of Minos, who was a king in Crete at the time. And as far as I'm aware, they pronounce it Minos instead of Minos. The Minotaur is a creature from Greek mythology, which is certainly well known these days for multiple reasons. The creature is said to take the form of a human from the neck down, with the head of a bull. He was said to roam the labyrinth in Crete, which was built by the great architect Daedalus to keep him contained. Every 7 years, 7 young men and 7 young maidens were to be sacrificed to feed the Minotaur. Until, that is, the great hero Theseus came along and killed the creature, with a little help from the Princess Ariadne, who was technically the Minotaur's half-sister. Really, don't ask. It's pretty gross. Number 12, the Bunyip. Now, the Bunyip actually originates from Australian Aboriginal folklore, and sightings of the creature are actually still reported to this very day. The Bunyip is actually a creature that's said to live in rivers, swamps, and lakes, and sightings tend to fall into 2 distinctive categories. 60% of those sightings say that the creature is some type of aquatic canine-like creature, whereas 20% say it has a small head on a long neck. The other 20% are extremely ambiguous and can't be put into either category. The 60% say that the creature is 4 to 6 feet long and has a bulldog-like head, brown or black fur, prominent ears, no tail, and seal/otter-like whiskers. Those in the other 20% say that the creature looks to have brown or black fur, is between 5 to 15 feet long, has a 3-foot-long neck covered with a mane of fur and multiple folds of skin, a small horse-like or emu-like head large ears, small tusks, and a horse-like tail. Many other descriptions, including those from the Aboriginal people, say that the creature is amphibious and nocturnal, and either feeds on mere crayfish or is a voracious predator of humans, particularly of women and children. Also, they're said to be oviparous and tend to lay their eggs in the nests of platypuses. Either way, if you're ever in the outback, you might want to stay away from rivers, lakes, and swamps, just in case. Number 11. Noperabo. Noperabo are spirits from Japan that have a very spooky story associated with them. They're known to be pranksters, and their favorite prank is to appear to someone, usually in the form of a normal human, sometimes even impersonating a person familiar to their victim, such as a loved one, and then when the victim moves closer and closer, their face disappears, leaving nothing but a smooth, blank sheet of skin where their face should be. Ugh. Now, Noperabo are primarily known for scaring people, but are otherwise completely harmless. Still, if you see someone and they wipe off their face, you might just have a few nightmares afterwards. I know I would. And there we have it. That was part 2 of my top 30 scariest/spookiest mythological creatures, in no particular order. If you like this video and you want more, please give this video a like and subscribe down below so you don't miss any new videos. Also, if there are any other ideas you want to see in future videos, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below and it might just happen. Alright, well that's all the time I have for this video, so I will see you all next week with part 3 of my scariest mythological creatures. See you then!